Yeah,
we're on live. Lovely. We're on live. We got there in the end. I think I'm going to need a little bit more of a touch up here, bloke. Thank you. Just gets rid of that blotchiness, you know, especially on camera. How you doing, people? All right?
Hello.
Brilliant. Okay. Hello. Yeah, we've got Gail in, Joshua in, Chris in, and myself this week. I hope you guys are all right there on SV. This is your first ever Admin Live broadcast. It's not a show, really. It's a broadcast, isn't it, really?
It's a chat.
It's a chat. It's just okay. So quickly, just before, let's get this out of the way. What aren't you vaping in under 30 seconds or less? Well, for me, I'm not vaping a goon. I'm not on a parallel hexome. I'm not vaping custard. Chris, what aren't you vaping in under 30 seconds or less, please?
I'm not vaping custard. I'm not vaping on a billet box. And I'm not vaping on anything mechanical tube-wise because they're all too fucking big. And that's about it, mate.
Lovely.
That's it.
Gail, what aren't you vaping on in under 30 seconds or less, please?
I'm not vaping on a Vaporessa Revenger and some American juice I bought back from Texas.
Brilliant. And Josh, what aren't you vaping on in 30 seconds or less?
I'm not vaping on anything that contains freebase nick.
There you go. Brilliant. So let's get this on further ado then. So basically the idea of this, maybe every week or maybe every couple of weeks, is for you to bring your questions onto the admins to discuss issues and, you know, anything that you want to happen within the group or not to happen within the group, ways we can keep it relevant, ways we can move it forward, more fun for you, easier for us. And basically, yeah, just have a bit of a chat at the same time. And yeah, so Joshua was kind enough in the middle of the week to put some questions to you, and so you could ask us anything you want. We had quite a few good responses, you know, stuff about forfeits, stuff about, you know, where the group is going to go, and we're going to discuss that as well. I think Daryl also mentioned that it'd be nice to have a member come on, say halfway through the broadcast, it's not a show, and maybe give some member input to the admins, or, you know, tell us off or whatever. Nothing is off limits, nothing is too controversial, and if you never had the bollocks to say it, then these will be the perfect opportunity for you guys to say it. So first of all, I think I'd like to say it's great having these new admins here. You know, obviously we had an overhaul this week, just to, you know, to kind of, you know, have a bit of a shake up to get the group a little bit of a dynamic going on, a little different dynamic going on. So thank you, Josh, Gail, Heather, Dan, for joining the team. How you been finding it so far, guys?
Wish I never took it, Damian.
Yeah, we all pretty much feel like that, you know, especially within. You should try it after 4 years.
I'm a week in, I'm absolutely drained, mate.
Yep. Okay. You know, Gail, how you finding it? I think you're on day 2.
Yeah, it's same as it's always ever been. No change. No change. It's interesting.
There you go. That's good. That's good. So what's first on the agenda then, Josh? I don't know if we've got the list of the comments from the members.
I knew you were going to drop that on me. We don't, but I think that the easiest place to start with this is probably the question that's going to take up the biggest amount of debate time, and that's forfeits.
Mm. Well, I mean, I understand where some people are coming from on the forfeit side of it, but it's been kind of an integral part of SV for a long time. And I mean, I don't know if many new members know, but when we first started the group, it was pretty much anything goes on it. You know, counterfeits were allowed. There weren't much high end back then because, you know, high end back then was a nemesis. But then obviously, you know, when I kind of was re-educated and changed my stance on it all, I switched it to no counterfeits allowed. And my God, the trouble I had for at least 18 months on the group was just incredible. I mean, we were being trolled by clone groups. We were being trolled by people. They just kind of, you know, it was like that scene with Heath Ledger, you know, they just lost their minds. You know, the fact that, you know, I chose to go anti-clone, people just were so fucking angry at me for that. It was almost like I'd fucking slept with all their wives. I didn't. But you know, so we needed something to stop that from happening, and we came up with the idea of doing silly little videos. Now, obviously, some have gone too far, and you know, I totally get that. You know, asking people to do things that can't really be done. You know, and I've always kind of liked the idea of doing silly things like that because I didn't want to ban people just outright. I don't like banning people. I just don't. You know, everyone wants a group to use. And I don't like the idea of just banning on the stop. And plus the fact you haven't got the time, 24 hours a day, to just keep banning and keep removing spam and keep doing this and doing that when you haven't got anything that's going to kind of be a repercussion or something to stop them and thinking twice about what they're posting. And if you notice, the group doesn't really have spam. It doesn't really have a lot of people just coming in to be a cunt and not the good kind, you know, but because of fear of forfeits, really. I mean, and I've never been one as well. I mean, I know some groups do it. I've never been one. I think someone was brought up like, just give some money for charity. I've never been the sort of person who wants to try and force somebody to pay charity. That's off your own back. And you know, I know forfeits could be quite humiliating for somebody, but what do you think's more humiliating? Singing miming over Whitney Houston and I Will Always Love You, or not having £5 to be able to donate to a charity, and then you have to flounce and everyone's calling you a piece of shit because you're not uncharitable, or feeling that humiliation of not having the money. So I've never been one to implement the you have to pay for this. You know, if you want to give money to charity, and that's what charity is all about anyway, you do it off your own back if and when you can afford. So, you know, that's my purpose of forfeits. It's an incentive for you not to just spam the living shit out of our group, because nobody wants that. To not to just come in and go, oh, look at my clone, and then go over to their group and go, you never guess what I just did on Soap and Vapors. I posted a clone pic, you know, and everyone's like, oh man, you're like fucking Iron Mike Tyson. You know, so it was kind of just a way to repel that type of vapor from behaving that way, and also so that the admins weren't there working 24 hours a day, just delete, remove. So, you know, that was my purpose behind forfeits. I mean, any other input on that from you guys? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, SV's known for its forfeits. That's why the shit doesn't come in there. That's why you don't get clones. That's why you don't get links, people spamming pages to their own websites, juice products, so on and so forth. Everyone knows that if they fuck up, they're going to get a forfeit. I think the problem is, and why it might need a little bit of a change, is because the gates have been opened now a few times and new members have come in. Whereas the older members will stand up and do the forfeit. I think the new guys think, oh, fuck that, you know, I'm off, I'm going. Hence why, you know, there aren't many being done. But, I mean, that's the nature of SV, and for me, it's worked really well so far. But maybe it's time to have a look around and just think, well, throw some ideas about, come up with something a bit different.
Yeah.
I agree. I totally agree. I first got hit with a forfeit and I did it. And my comfort zone was about that big. You know, that 27 inches you were talking about?
Yeah, that was going to be private.
Yeah, it was that big. Came out of my comfort zone, did it. And then just everyone welcomed me. And it was brilliant. It was the best feeling. And nobody will make anyone feel awkward anyway. It's just look at the rules. It's not hard.
Well, we have
when most people turn around and say, read and understood, and they've read the rules, I think everyone fucking knows that they just got to flick through them and think, yeah, fucking whatever. And they don't actually read them in full. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's a forfeit there to humiliate people or to make people point a finger and have a laugh. It's just a bit of fun. At the end of the day, no one's taking the piss. It's just, you know, got a bit light-hearted humour, and everyone sees the funny side of it, and then, you know, it's forgotten about. So, yeah, I'd say more forfeits. Do them, you fuckers.
Josh, anything?
What do you think, Josh?
I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm just disagreeing, but my only thing would be, how many people realistically are being sort of weaned out by the fact there's a forfeit system, posting an ad for Ray-Bans or juice or whatever other shit, versus how many people are scared about posting because they're worried about getting forfeit. So I'm like, is SV really now in 2017 in a place where you're getting people who are still posting ads up, trying to sell their own gear, versus people who just want to join the community and have a chat? That's the only thing I think you've got to balance off. Is I'm not sure it's the same now. And also, if it's a forfeit, I mean, they're just going to flounce anyway, right? They're just going to come in, spam the product, you'll get to eat it, forfeit, gone. Yeah, that's it. So I'm not sure how much it sort of, you know, impacts on people who want to have a conversation, especially new members that come in. You know, like, I mean, I put up a forfeit yesterday, and like, guy, you know, he left the group. That was it, done and dusted. But I think how many new members that have come in since have seen that forfeit as one of their first posts, and then think, shit, what's going on here? And instantly sort of step back from posting.
Yep, that makes sense. That makes sense. So, as we said, maybe a way to look around it, maybe a strike system. I don't know. I mean, we did change the entry questions. Since we've opened the group up, we've now put some new questions in there. I think the first one is, do you support clones? So if they say yes, straight away, they're not going to come in, because they're not going to fit into the group sort of dynamic.
You wouldn't believe how many people I've deleted that have put, yeah, we do.
Yes, I know. And that's why I put it rather than sort of like anything else. Or make, you know, because obviously you don't want to get into that argument with people there who do support them, and then you're going to have trouble when people are calling cloners this, that, and the other, whatever. So, you know, they're obviously not going to fit into that group. You know, we don't want an approved Vapors 20,000 members. We don't. There's going to have to be a point when we stop, because then it just becomes too busy. And I think the second question I said was, will you be reading the pin post? So automatically it's kind of put it into their minds, I better fucking read the pin post. You know, I can't remember what the third question was. But those two were kind of quite important. So, but I do get what you're saying, Josh. Yes, in 2017 now, it's going to be more rare. I mean, but there are some groups out there which you know, and I'm not knocking approved vapors because it's a very different animal, but it is full of adverts and things like that, and it takes a long time to find a conversation or a thread that's kind of informative and community based over. There's this group, this vendor here, and this juice here, and that mod there, and this mod there. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah. SV are pretty much, if they want to find.
What's the midway point?
That's true. That's the midway point. I mean, but then also, I mean, look at the fun we get when you've got somebody like Mark wrapping himself up in tinfoil and going down his local shop and buying.
He's the exception, though. He's just a dickhead.
He's a lovable dickhead.
He's fucking brilliant.
But yeah, and people love that. And when somebody does have to do a forfeit, I mean, I don't remember if you remember what was his name? Was it Uma? Was it Nick? You know, when he did the Uma song, and he did the making a sandwich video, and he put a lab coat on and made a sandwich as if he was a scientist. I mean, some of them have been absolutely hysterical, but I get what you're saying. And there are people who do suffer anxiety, who aren't like me, and, you know, every opportunity when there's a camera, it's just in, powder on, ready for it, you know, and they don't like being out there at the front. So it's what you think about, what do you do? But then if you don't have any rule basis or any sort of repercussion things, then it's a harder job for us to just be deleting posts. And you know, and it becomes a free for all. I don't know. It's a tough one.
I think that Jibby makes a good point in chat. Actually, he says yellow card for first rule break.
Yeah, but then haven't we got to then have a list of who's got a yellow card?
Yeah, good point.
You know, it's. I mean, we're happy to do the job, but I mean, Jesus, it's you know, we also have lives and work and things like that as well. You know, I know there's a few of us, and I always like to have at least 8 admins so that people can, you know, go to work and there might be somebody there available, whatever. We can spread the workload. But I mean, we don't really want to make even too much more fucking work than it already has to do to run a group of this size and in the way it's run. You know, because we do take a look at every thread, really. We are a constant sort of presence in SV. And, you know, we're nearly at 10,000 strong in there as well. So, you know, it's only going to get busier. So we don't really want to. I like the idea of your first strike and all that, but then you've got to try and remember everybody, and some are more rememberable than others because they post more. You know, obviously, we do need to find a way as well to welcome in newer people and give them a way to sort of break the ice, you know.
Yeah, I think it's.
Sorry, just read something.
I can't see this chat. I've just got a lot of commands available. I don't know what that's all about.
You don't want to, Chris, based on the first comment in there.
Yeah, you just got to click on the YouTube link on SV, and it will be there on the side.
I'll find it. But yeah, no, it's a bloody difficult one. I don't know what the answer is. But I was reading that post the other day about how many people had sort of been lurking, as it were. Now, are they frightened to post through fear of forfeit, or are they just those sort of people that just rather read than? I mean, forums used to be exactly the same. We used to have members on forums who never posted, and they'd just rather read than get involved, and maybe that's what they want to do. But
Christ,
yeah,
it happened to me when I first joined the vape pit many moons ago. I was shitting myself. I didn't want to post. You know, you think SV was bad?
Oh, I joined, but I never had the bollocks to post.
Anyone who remembers Vape Pit, mate, I mean, that was fucking some medieval shit.
Yeah, it was,
mate. I'm telling you, like fire and brimstone, those motherfuckers. You know, it was fucking frightening. Your bum would go the moment you'd like post or anything. And I ended up they had something on Vape Pit called the fucking ring. And it was basically, if you fucked up, if you had a problem with somebody, they would drop you in this sort of sub forum to battle it out. And I think I tried to buy something on Vape Pit, and I got dragged into. Well, what it was, I tried to buy something, and I got sort of fucking attacked by some guy. I ended up like sorting it out with him, all right, and it was funny thinking about it. And then I kind of called him out on one of my waffles. I was like, "Oh, you wanker," like that on one of my waffles. Next thing I know, I'm in the fucking ring. In the ring by some guy. I ended up like, sorting it out. Who's that? Funny thinking about it. And then who's pressed volume? My waffles. I was like, "Oh, you wanker," like that on one of my waffles. Why can I hear that?
I think it's Chris.
Chris, stop watching that back. Mute it.
Sorry.
That's weird. There's like another Damian in the room. Enough. Why can I hear that? There you go. Go on. I ended up in the ring battling it out with about 5 other guys, and it was intense. You know, there has been that sort of atmosphere in vaping, and probably with a lot of other hobbyist sort of things like this, you do get that sort of side of it. The ring sounds like a good idea, John. It wasn't, mate. I actually spent an entire day in that ring, but like defending myself. It was just an absolute waste of everybody's bloody time. But yeah, you know, so maybe, I mean, the shit posting thing, yes, that we need to look at. You know, because some things are funny and stuff like that, and I think that's a bit too coarse, you know, getting a forfeit for shit posting. But we were getting a lot of shit posts at one point. I mean, loads. It was, you know, I mean, have you seen the weather's going to be shit tomorrow or something like that? You're just constant shit posting, and you just think, you know, there's got, you know, Jesus fucking pictures all the time. Funny maybe the first 100 times, but when you see it 1,000 times, you go, right, yeah, I get it. I look like fucking Jesus. I understand. You know, it's me dad know. You know, it was sort of like, you know, but yeah, the shit thing, maybe that could be looked at. I don't know.
I think as well, I think it was it Joshua or Daniel or James, I can't remember, who posted up the, you know, we don't give a fuck what setup you use, whether it's 50 quid or whether it's fucking 500 quid. As long as it's genuine. I mean, there's so much gear out there at the moment. It's just absolutely fucking mind-blowing. People buy what they want to buy. They want to buy a £500 model, let them buy a £500 model. If they want to use, you know, a closed pod system or whatever, it's really irrelevant. I mean, I think the point we're making here is just there's no real excuse now these days to buy a clone anything. Yeah. You can pick up a perfectly good setup off the classifieds now for like 50, 60 quid. I mean, it's just balmy. It's developed so much over the last few years. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I don't really see that many clones knocking about, to be honest. Now,
it's because we're not in those groups, Chris.
Nah, probably, mate. Yeah.
They're still there. I mean, we've had the old fucking SVA debacle recently, haven't we? Where true. You know, so it's still there. It's just if you're not, and that happens as well. You know, I mean, back in those days, Christ, you know, it wasn't even that long ago. But you know, a couple of years ago, there wasn't that many groups about. really, as what there is now. So people were sort of like milling in and out of different groups. Now there's so many groups with a specific a genre, I don't know the right word for it, with a specific core about it that, you know, they kind of stick there and go, I'm not going over there, bloody elitist twats. And we're like, oh, we're not going over there, you know, bloody cloners, whatever. So the kind of people are now sticking to where they really want to be. And even if you've got people in SV, and I have no problem what you have at home. I have no problem what you use because of financial situations or your own moral standards. But as long as you're not, you're respectful to the group you're in and understand that the main core of that group doesn't like it and you leave it out, I don't give a monkeys. It's when you get the people that come in and just, for some reason, grown adults come in and go, I've just posted up my clone in there, wait and see what happens. That used to piss me off, you know, a lot. And I just thought, you know, why try and, you know, sort of rock the boat and cause this sort of drama and that just for a fucking giggle. So, you know. And once again, hence why coming back to the forfeit system, why that was implemented, because, you know, we was bombarded with it when we initially switched over about 3 years ago, I think we switched over. I finally had enough of it. And we were just bombarded and there was like fucking group wars and all sorts of really sad gay stuff going on back then.
Well, it needs looking at, that's for sure. But I mean, I personally, I think the forfeits should stay because I think that you know, that's what SB is all about. Now, whether that person disagrees with the forfeit they've been issued, because I mean, the admin are busy, like you said, Damian, and they're running them like tits. They've got fucking families of their own. If they don't agree with the forfeit, because most of them come off the top of people's head, like, you know, instantly, then maybe it's down to another admin to issue another one, you know, and they take the gamble. I don't know. But,
the gamble,
you know.
I love the idea of the gamble. I think that's great because that's like, do you remember Bullseye? Do you remember Bullseye as a kid?
Yeah.
You could choose door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3, and you chose door number 1, and it was quite a nice prize or something. It was like, well, do you want to risk door number 1?
Yeah.
You could get a prize or get something real shit. I love the gamble. I think that's great.
It could be a different admin behind a different door.
Yeah. And you could get, maybe you could get the door number 2 is no forfeit at all. You just get a fucking flat wrist. Or you could get, you know, go and belly dance in co-op with a rose in your mouth. Do you know what I mean?
Hell, don't get Mark on that.
No. I am only talking about Mark here. There's people often asked to go and belly dance in the co-op, except Mark. Mark, of course, would go, I ain't doing that. And then 5 minutes later, he'd get a video and go, okay, I did it.
Yeah.
You know, so
looking like someone at a fucking
forfeit you could have won, Johnny's just said. Yeah, that's exactly it. Look what forfeit you could have won. I do like that idea. But yes, of course, there are people, again, that don't like being up in front of camera. So it is a difficult one because, you know, some people don't mind and some people it's like their worst fucking nightmare. It used to be apology by song, if you remember, at first, before the forfeit.
Wheel.
Yeah.
Been mentioned. Wheel of forfeit.
The wheel.
That's quite good. Yeah.
That's brilliant. Is there any computer programmers out there who could actually design an app, the Wheel of Forfeit? That would just be absolutely brilliant. I think I'd just play that anyway every day and have a go. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. But there has been exceptions, of course. And if somebody, obviously, I mean, if you remember old Ryan Hinds, and God, you know, God bless him, I think he had Asperger's or something, and he did write to me and said he couldn't do it. And you let off in serious situations, go, okay.
Yeah.
Because at least they PM'd you as well and explain the situation. You know they're not just being a twat and they generally want to stay and they just made a mistake. Of course there's exceptions to the rule. You can't go and force somebody if it's their worst bloody night.
PM us.
We'll.decide.com. Nice one, Lee. Yeah, you know, and of course you don't want to force somebody to do their worst bloody nightmare, you know. So there's always an option of a PM and admin, and you know, and maybe we sort it out. But then, you know, it should be like good for a laugh as well. If it's not your worst nightmare, join in, have some fun. You know, that's what I say. Okay, maybe we should move on to a different discussion, and we've got no further on that one right now whatsoever. So we will continue to work at that, guys, and we'll try and come up with something maybe in the forthcoming weeks. But you've heard there, the reasons behind why we do forfeits. And just remember, if you do get one, we're going to try and be a little bit more lax on the shit posting thing. I think that doesn't need to be, maybe, stop shit posting. Next time you might get a forfeit, a warning on something on a shit post, just because you just don't want your group full of fucking, I don't know, pictures of a fucking dog. Look at me dog with the vapor next to him. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, if it was a hamster actually vaping, then maybe, that'd be quite interesting. But, So what's next? Anything else we got on next? I
want to bring up lurkers. I don't think there's anything wrong with people lurking, personally.
No.
You get it in every group. Some people, like you say, aren't extrovert, don't want to come out. But if there's a question, people have seen from that thread that no one's going to jump on them. And they will answer your questions. And people are really, really helpful. And we want it to be that people will feel comfortable enough to post and think, actually, there are other people here that understand. We've all started somewhere and we're all in the same place, really. Doesn't matter what you're using, just post the question and you're not going to get jumps on.
Yeah, totally agree. Even though I think I saw somebody as well was sort of like, I don't even like the word lurker, like it's become a racial slur, but people.
It's a real internet word though.
Is it?
Yeah.
No idea. Yeah, so don't worry about that. Just say something. The thread the other day, I think Chris put up with no punctuation or grammar whatsoever, which was
really bad.
I actually read it as it was written, and I had to take a breath at the end. I was nearly passed out.
Honestly, I'll hold my hands up. I'm shit.
Yeah, but it was a really good thread, and it brought a lot of people out who hadn't posted. Yeah. To say, totally agree, and I haven't posted, and I haven't done because and gave their ideas of it, So well, now you have. Now Chris has made you pop your cherry. Some of you see, there's always opportunities in the group for you to introduce yourself, or join in a thread or something like that. Do not be frightened to post. If you are a bit nervous about it, like something like that, maybe not create your own thread day one if it's nervous of you, but have a look at some threads, and even if you put on and I agree on something, just that. Or I disagree. Well, don't put I disagree, because then you're opening a whole can of fucking conversation. But there's loads of threads and conversations to get in to basically slowly introduce yourself in. And then once you do start putting a few comments in, it does get easier and easier and easier. Of course, there's going to be, in any group that you join for the first time, there's going to be core members who've been there years or whatever. So you're going to get that feeling.
The ones that don't fucking shut up, you mean?
Yeah, it's the same guy posting constantly. So of course you're going to get out of it, and also I think Marcus has just put a good one. Sorry, Maximus has just put a good one. If you're a bit worried about the group, there's always Hangouts as well that you can join on SV. The link is in the pin post.
Yeah.
Once you've read it, you should have seen it. So you could always join a Hangout on a Friday night, and like everyone's usually pissed as well. So maybe on your first one, be sober and feel like the most intelligent person in a room. And then you could put a name to the fucking emoji or the GIF, put a face to the GIF, and then you could really that might relax you as well, because you get to know them on a more personal level. So there's always Hangouts as well. Maybe we could have more people on a Friday night joining Hangouts, putting a post up. Come on, let's get fucking 5-6 people in a Hangout. If you know, come and join.
Used to do that quite a bit.
Yep. So maybe if you knew, you could say, look, let's meet and hang out for the first time. Let me see who you are. Let's have a chat. My name's fucking Dave and I'm an alcoholic, whatever. And hang out is perfect for Dave if he is an alcoholic. So, they're all alcoholics on Hangouts. Look at Chris tonight. Look, Chris is drinking beer. So,
drinking coffee.
Let's start tomorrow.
Lucas age 0.
Coffee. In my top daddy cup.
And Josh just drinks fucking pure Nick now. So, there's always ample opportunity for you to sort of slowly integrate into the group. And they are a really nice bunch, forget all the, what they represent and the image they represent. And it's like a bit frightening and daunting. Every single person. Hi, Heather.
Hi, Heather.
A really approachable person, really. How are you? Heather, all right? What they represent, the image they represent, and it's like a bit frightening and daunting. Could you mute that? Hi, Heather.
Hello.
Hi, Heather.
Hi.
Really approachable person, really. Can we mute the YouTube? All right. Mute the YouTube, Heather.
Oh,
and it's
shit.
a bit frightening.
Hold on.
Mute that. Hi, Heather.
Is that better?
That's better. Like you said
I
earlier,
didn't even know what the fuck I'm doing, but anyway.
you joined the don't know what the fuck we're doing club. So yeah.
No, I didn't even know what the fuck I was doing, but I just joined.
We're just winging it, Heather, don't worry. We're just winging it.
We're just winging it. I haven't even like gone to like check my notes because I don't have any. So you know.
No.
Don't lie. You've got a full camera crew there that you've got a fucking queue.
I've got a teleprompt just going on right over behind me now, so I'm just reading it off there. Okay.
Half a dozen women in the background with makeup boxes, waiting for the interval, trimming the beard, putting the eyeliner on.
Have we got any members coming in? Josh, do you know? Any member of SV want to come in and sort of either like tell us we're doing a good job or tell us we're doing a shit job? So, you know.
Ethan, go grab me my mouse and my mouse pad, please. Thank you. Love kids. You can just boss them around.
Yeah. That's why I had so many.
God.
That's why my internet connection's working. They're all on treadmills at the moment, sending energy to my router.
Shame.
Yeah, we discussed forfeits already, Heather.
Yeah, I heard. I heard.
So, you know, we're going to keep looking at that one. I think another one I'd like to talk about while we're here today is one that I've been seeing more and more, and this more concerns the sales page.
I know what this is.
You know, this, you know, and it's going to be a touchy subject for some. It is. It's going to be, you know, especially, you know, with UK vapors, because, you know, they're quite militant on this subject, and, you know, it's very, you got to kind of use, you know, some kid gloves with it. But I've been seeing more and more of this matching RRP business, and that's fine, apart from when you're looking at some bundles that are just kind of a bit excessive, looking for something really difficult to get and then wanting to match the RRP. Like, okay, let's say I've got a £400 stab wood box mod that nobody's really, well, it's quite all right. It's not great, but it's quite all right, but it's easily obtainable. I've got an Atty here that's kind of all right. And then I've got, you know, drip tips and cartos and all this, you know, RRP full list, 800 quid. I'm looking for an M-Atty and I'd like 600 quid as well. You know, now, you know, I'm not, you know, it's kind of been acceptable for a long time, but it's becoming more and more and more. And I just think there needs to be a way around it, because it's clogging up the sales pages now, and it does kind of send people in a little bit of a bad mood, and it brings it over to the main group. So I don't want to implement a rule, because I don't think there can be a rule. I mean, you can't really say no bundle cunts unless there's sort of like maybe restrict it to mod and Atty. Maybe a you know, a full setup. But I do think, you know, that it's getting a bit out of control, because, you know, it is hard, really hard to get some of these things, you know, especially say something like an M-Atty. I mean, that's unicorn poop of Atties, isn't it, really? You know, and you can't really expect people to part with it, you know, and then pay you 500 quid on top for shit that they don't really want. And I know people will be like, well, they don't have to do it then. But my point is, but you're clogging up my fucking sales page and bumping it, you know, every 24 hours. So, I don't know. Anyone else got thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? Unfortunately, if you have to something that you desperately need and it's rare as fuck, you're going to have to take a hit on it at the end of the day. If you want something that badly, then, you know, you're going to put something up, then you're going to have to take the whack on it. I mean, like you said, paying 500-600 quid on top of something because it's bundled with an absolute load of shite, a load of fucking SS bottles and Christ knows what. And you know, it's never going to happen. I mean, post it up if you like, but it'll just disappear into the abyss, because no one's that fucking stupid, I don't think, these days. I mean, I might be wrong, but like you say, it just clogs up the sales page and achieves nothing.
I've also noticed recently that there's a lot more trading posts instead of normal sales, and everybody wants to trade for the next best thing, or they've got something very elusive that you can't really get hold of as easily, and then they only just want to trade. They don't sell. They don't. It's really frustrating because a lot of people say, well, this person's trading so and so for so and so. Why don't they just sell it? If they don't want it, why don't they just sell it? And most of the times you'll find that they've literally just gotten it and then they trade it up for something else. And then they've gotten that next little bundle and then they're trading that bundle for something else again. It's like a trade up page, basically, which
it's like trying to climb the greasy fucking pole, isn't it?
Exactly.
You know, it's the next best thing that's out. I've got one of these, it's rare, so therefore I'm just going to trade it anyway. I do like it, it's a nice attitude, but something else better's out there, or I think it's better, and so it goes on and so it goes on. I've sold loads of gear, I'm not bragging here, I've sold Franking Skulls at RRP, I've sold loads of stuff at RRP. Very rarely do I post I want to trade, because the whole vaping scene with rare stuff is want to trade, and that's what makes it so difficult for people to get hold of stuff that's hard to get hold of, because it's one rare thing for another one. You know, it's because
you're not going to be able to. That's the thing, and I get that, and that kind of you can't expect people to sell you, Matty, because there are
that's an exception. Yeah.
And the likelihood of getting another one, or say you want a Kimmich, right, and you've got an Matty, fair play, but But because then that's something that you could use, because you can't expect them to sell it, because they're never going to be able to say you got an Emati, you want a Kimmich. You're not going to sell your Emati on the hope that you're going to be able to buy a Kimmich, because it ain't going to happen. So I totally get that side of the trading. Do you know what I mean? So I've got this Emati, I've used it. It's not as great as I thought it was going to be. Do you know what? Now I've got a chance to get that Kimmich that I've always hungered for. That I totally get. It's when they're sort of like using certain things, but then adding all the shit left behind to also include a fucking bunch of some money on top as well. That's what gets to me. I kind of think that's a bit on this. It's a kind of a bit sly. And I'm not calling anyone out and saying, "Oh, you're a piece of shit." If anyone's got any bundles up at the moment in SV, I'm not referring to you. I think it's become part of. We've been complacent on it. It's become part of the norm. And it's been acceptable for so long. So no, I'm not, judging or having a pop at anyone. I just think I'd like to look at a way now where maybe we could think twice about it. And I don't know.
Calm your shit down with it.
Yeah, or fuck off somewhere else and do it. No, but we're going to clog up the sales page, and it's just not going to happen.
We're not opening a bundle group for you.
yeah. It's not going to be Rob, Jane, and Teddy exactly.
Well, for that one.
Bringing the sales page up again, there's another issue that I've seen a lot. A lot of people, they'll buy something, they'll have it for about 3 or 4 months, and then they still want the original RRP for it. As what they bought, they want that exact money back. It's got a ding in it, it's been used, and they still want their RRP back. I personally think if you're going to own something for a couple months and use it and ding it or drop it or something, and you want to sell it on the page, you should knock off from the original RRP. Doesn't matter if it's
even if it's not dinged,
even if it's hard to get hold of or not. I think if it's damaged or if it's been used for a couple months, it should go for less than RRP.
Because I buy a brand new car. I buy a brand new car, right? As soon as I've started the engine on the forecourt, I've lost 10 fucking grand or 5 grand. You don't buy anything and then expect, I get that. I'd like that back. We'd all fucking like that back in a perfect world on everything we ever buy, and we decide to sell it. I've got a new telly. 6 months later, I try and sell that on eBay, and I'd just like back what I paid for it, even though I've been sitting there watching fucking, X Factor. I don't watch
CBeebies more like
CBeebies for the last 6 months. Of course, I've always kind of made a point of, even if it was, even a few weeks, I try and knock 10 or 20 quid off, and then usually the day I knock a lot more off because it ain't moved or something, because I'm just impatient. But it also makes it more enticing to get rid of it, to be honest. Rather than sticking to your guns and leaving it on there for weeks. It's like, I've got an Atty that you can probably get hold of anytime you want. Really, but I'd like the full price back of it. I'd just like that back. Yeah, in a perfect world, we'd all fucking like that back, but it just ain't going to happen, you know, really.
Exactly.
See, the thing is as well, like things move so fastly now in this game. There's Atties out all the time. It was the Soul, then it was the Armour, then it was the Haku, and things move so quickly. At the end of the day, I mean, somebody always wants something else. So I mean, if I've got something there and I've had a couple of months use out of it, I don't care if it's like new. I ain't going to ask anywhere near what I paid for it. I'm going to ask a reasonable amount of money so I can afford the next thing that's come out, the latest hype, if you like.
Yeah.
It's not about getting your money back, because unfortunately, if you're in this game to try and make money, or not make money, but keep your bank balance as it was, you're fucked.
Yeah. None of my kids are going to uni. That's it. It's that.
No, man.
You know, so yeah, I do. You know, yeah. I mean,
comment. Some items retain their price more than others. We're not saying that that's not the case. We're just saying stop chucking shit together in a bundle.
Yes, well, no, I do agree with Johnny there, and that once again though, but that leads to the rarer, very hard to get items, of course, and people do then know that you're going to be able to get. I mean, in an alternate reality, if somebody is selling an MAT, even if it's a year old, they're going to be able to get RRP on that, and I don't care, even if it's scratched to fucking hell, they're going to be able to get hold of that, because getting hold of one of them without literally offering up your entire collection is pretty difficult, unless you've got pals in the pals in the game who you've spent a lot of time with and doing you a touch. You're not going to get one, and you are going to be able to get that money back. I totally get that, of course, but we're just kind of saying, you know,
people would know that though. They would know that about certain things, right?
Yeah. We just on some other things as well. They don't. It's, you know, I've seen a couple of, you know, even down like to a bolt or something like that, and you know he's going to have had juice through it, and it's a squonker, for crying out loud. Anyone says a fucking squonker don't leak's a lying bastard. You know what I mean? You know, it's just fucking, you're going to get some fucking juice issues through that or whatever, and you know you're going to be used and stuff. So of course something like the MAT or a Kimek or those really hard to get things, of course you could be able to get your money back. But I think what Heather was also trying to say is as well, it's a bit on the sly. If it has got a scratch in it, or it is not fucking brand new, it's a bit fucking naughty to ask for the money. No one could stop you. It's RRP, and that's the rules of the group. We're as admins, we're just saying this is some things we see, and you know, kind of we're watching. We know, you know, it's just, you know, maybe, you know, as members, you know, knock a fiver off.
Yeah.
Get a little something for your brethren member to say, you know, yeah, we're in this together, mate. You know what I mean? You can have a fiver off. There's, you know, there's some coils from Belgian Coil Collective, www.belgiancoilcollective.com. No, you know, you can buy yourself a little something extra. Is a nice little touch. You don't have to, but we're just kind of saying that as admins. So, but yeah, I do agree, Heather. On that one, you see that a lot, and I think there is even something slightly sort of off-putting about that. I just like that bank, you know. Yeah. I do. I mean, every time I see that, I immediately go, "So the fuck would I?" On everything.
I cringe at the point when they go, "House mod, never left the house." The fuck.
You know,
wrapped it up in cotton wool and fucking slept with it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Don't get me wrong. Some people are like that, and not
the first week. The first week I had my anima, it went to Alton Towers. It was wonderful.
Christ, didn't take you with you? Fucking.
You had a private limousine behind with just the M in the back.
Yeah, selfish bastards. I've been around my house a week. He's fucked off to Derby. He's fucked off to Alton Towers. These IM mods, mate.
I'm just reading on the group. Somebody, Bartle Fresh, has actually said, Barty, one thing on sales is what about a seller's tax for charity?
What sort of like a £1 or £2 per item that you sell or something? Put it into a pot and donate to charity.
I presume they mean, you know, because we've got people commenting on the group as well as on YouTube, and people that can't get chat up at all. So I'm keeping an eye on the group as well as YouTube. People are commenting.
That doesn't sound, I mean, I think, I don't know if Josh brought this up the other day, maybe actually get ourselves a Because I mean, unlike UKS have done it very, very well with their charities and kept ideas on their amounts and stuff like that. We haven't done that. Ours have been pretty much, you know, this is what we're doing this, and then we move on to the next one. We've never actually kept a fucking record of it, which is my fault. But I mean, my organisational skills are just wow.
Didn't you have a charity you used to donate to, Damian, for one of your kids that was sick or something?
Yeah, I mean, we do a lot. I mean, I'm a patron of Barnsley Hospital Charity.
So then why don't we set that up as the charity of choice?
Yeah, we could do that, or have a few. You know, I remember sort of a group UVA. I don't know if you know UVA or HRS. I know that's a sort of subject for some HRS, but I mean, HRS had a list of designated charities, and you could choose one and send to something that was close to each person. There's lots of different charities, and each different one are close to different people's hearts. You know, we've got Tommy's, we've got something for Alzheimer's, we've got anything like this. Maybe we should have some designated charities, and people then have the option.
I think it's a good idea
to do that. Maybe that is something we could look for. I kind of like the idea of the eBay page. Like eBay fees, but instead a pound or something goes to charity of each sale. And I mean, in the way that the sales pages work, eventually, you know, there's going to be a nice chunk of change for a charity. I like that idea. It's not kind of forcing anyone to spend their last fiver then if they've broke a rule, like on a charity thing. They're going to get some money. Say they've got a £300 mod, they sell it for £300 because they're just like that back. And then, you know, getting a pound or two sent to a charity, you know, I think that's quite a good idea, to be honest. And it gives, like Jibby Jeffs has just said, it gives people a choice as well to pick a charity that's close to them. So then it's not just, you know, you have to send here. They can look through the list and go, oh, bloody hell, I agree with that. And feel good then, and not like they've been taxed, you know, and go, yeah, I'll send them a couple of quid screenshot and move along. A great idea, Barty.
Ben.
Ben.
His real name is Ben.
Great idea, Ben. Good one. See, already we're changing the world.
A little bit at a time.
A little bit at a time. Good, brilliant idea. So I think maybe we'll look into that. I'm not even going to put a poll up in SV. I like the idea of that. So, you know, and if all the other admins agree, I like that. Well done, Ben. I think it prepared for a small sales tax in the SV sales page, and then everyone runs off to other sales pages tomorrow. I'll go there tomorrow and every night.
It's just a donation, surely. It's not going to be like a percentage, though. Can you imagine? 10% of each sale.
Vapers
it's just a donation.
Vapers are extremely charitable. I don't think I've ever seen hobbyists for anything as charitable as this community. It's across the board, to be honest, whether you're international or whether you're in the UK. Very charitable people, and you know, always a feel-good factor about it. So I think everyone will be happy with that, to be honest.
I'm gonna sound like a heartless bastard when I say this now, though. But really, if we start taxing the sales page, like don't we give enough in raffles and the various other events that we do on the main page to then have another? And that's from me against charity. That's just
but if you're talking a pound off your sale, like I would say eBay fees, like a pound. I'm not asking for a 10% or anything like that.
Yeah, of course.
I'm just looking at a way to also make, you know, we're going off that, you know, just to even make those some people who are a little bit, and you do, it's not just, I think, admins, it's a lot of vapors who do see that, I'd like that back. And they do kind of get, you read about it, those little digs in certain threads and things like that. I think it would make those people who don't like it either a lot feel better about it and not go on about it, because everyone's putting a pound in. They're using the sales page for fucking free anyway to be able to get what they want. We you know, so.
And isn't that the beauty of it, though?
Well, it's not like we're getting the money.
No, I know.
It's not a corporation getting the money, or eBay, or
Joshua, usually the SV raffles are always to raise funds for a specific person, usually.
Yeah.
The sales page, the £1 per sale, would be to a charity. It's not to one specific person who we like do a whip around for and raise money to help them. This would be to go to a specific charity and it'll help it massively. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, if you're obviously voice of reason again, Josh, I like that. You're good here, mate. We'll keep you.
I'm just, I just throwing out. I'm just thinking, it's like
I understand.
I'm completely down with the idea. I'm completely down.
I understand. Sorry, I understand where Josh is coming from. There's that many vaping groups out here now. There's UKS. There's loads of them, and I mean they can sell the gear wherever they want without paying any sort of donation. I think what might be a good idea is to get a selection of selected charities that maybe the members can vote on for whatever reason, and have those set, maybe 10 different charities, and give the seller the option to post that link in their sales post, the option to post that in there to donate some money from their sale. If they want to donate, then they're welcome to do it, but I don't think it should be forced.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
But like, for example, I mean, the raffle that I just run, a lot of the guys who are picked up batteries and mods and all sorts of bits and pieces have just said that they wanted to donate to the cause, but they don't want the prize. So I mean, I've got gear coming to me now that I have no idea what I'm going to do with. So, that can go somewhere else now. That's like a sort of double whammy kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we can kind of, but I do think we need some sort of designated list of charities or a listed charity that we can sort of, send the money to, whether that rotates on a monthly basis or 6 monthly basis, whatever. But yeah, I agree with the idea in principle. It's good.
Yeah, so then it's the seller's choice. Say I don't know, I've got a Paps here. Say I've got a Paps X here, RRP, I don't know what it was, 115 quid. I want 70 quid for it, but I'll take 65, and here's the link, stick a $5 in there.
Yeah, that's the
idea.
option. Yeah.
There's the option. Nobody's forced to do it, but then, that might start off other people doing it. The buyer's not out of pocket, he's still buying it for 70 quid. But he's just got an extra click to do. Send a $5 to one place and then made my 65 quid. That's that idea.
Yeah. And then, it's an option. You can either do it or you don't have to do it. It's entirely up to you.
Yeah, that makes more sense. And that goes, like I said, I don't feel happy about forcing people money. I kind of meant it in a different way. It weren't really forced. It was kind of just like for using the page, send £1. But I get where you're coming from, Joshua. It could seem like you're being forced to do it.
I guess it's just the term tax.
Yeah.
I think that probably is,
I think offer the option, and if they choose to use it, donate to a charity, that's great. If they don't,
I could see the majority.
Yeah, it's like when you order online, and they say that you make your order online and then there's a little tab that says, do you want to round this order up to 30 quid and we'll donate the 56p or whatever to charity? Like, it's kind of like that basis of, you just sold your mod for 200 quid. Why not make it 205 or 195 and donate 5p?
Yeah.
Good idea.
And hopefully I'd just like that back, people. Maybe it was after your 300 quid, I'd just like that back. Maybe if you asked for 295 and you stuck a $5 and put a $5 in here, that would stop some people looking at it going thinking, yeah, you tight cunt.
Mark's commented, did you read that?
No.
Will it be just for people who want to sell or also want to trade? Not sure how it would work on a trade, but I think it would mean more people putting up want to trade posts, making it even harder for people to actually buy things they want.
Would you really just deliberately put a trade thing up over £1?
No, I don't think anyone would personally, but that's just my opinion.
And once again, it's not a tax. It's an option. So
it's not a demand. We're not saying you have to do it, but it's there.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I see that. It's an option to do it. And I think once we've organised the designated charities and there's a few lists to choose and you're able to do it and it's tested out, I think people understand why nobody else is getting it apart from it's a good cause, and it's going to make maybe it's going to make other people, feel better about getting full prices back in certain ways, even if it is just a couple of quid, because then it is a sort of like a nice gesture on the back of getting some money back for a product, that you might need the money for back, really, if that makes any sense.
Generally, trades are always, I'll trade you this one item for this item plus cash, or I want plus cash. So I think it would still
Craig's just said a good one.
It would still literally apply as like a sales post. You know, obviously offer the option. If they want to use the option, they use it. If they don't, they don't. No hard feelings. But I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, Craig's just said just tax 20% off any Hadley bundles and we'd kill it. We would. We would. I go to sleep dreaming of Hadley bundles. No, like that. I wake up fucking like a nightmare. You know, I've just woke up with a room full of Hadleys all coming towards me. You know, so yeah, no, that's something. Once again, that's something we can look at, and I do like the idea of it. You know, obviously we could have a maybe we could do a poll. You know, I like a poll. That's the Polish, by the way. No, you know, I like a poll. So maybe we could say what sort of, or list of ideas for charities from the members themselves, rather than us dictate what charities they are. Maybe have people suggest some charities, and if there's, you know, the biggest number goes in the poll, then the next one goes in the poll, and say have 5 different types or whatever, and then we just choose maybe the top 3 or something like that. So it's members' choice again. You know, down to the members, obviously.
Yeah.
It's been interesting, actually, hearing people's views on it. Got to say, where they're pinging up everywhere else, just got to find them.
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking at the YouTube.
You don't need Mark to log on. I feel like the only troll in the village.
So yeah, I mean, anything else? I mean, we're at 10 o'clock, and I think we were going to say we was only going to do an hour. We didn't have a member this week, so maybe if we do one next week, maybe one of you members out there would like to come on. And, you know, and give us your thoughts on the group, or if you're new to the group, maybe, and you're not sure of how to introduce yourself, maybe next week coming on with the admins into the lion's den might be a good way of you know, breaking the ice and introducing yourself and letting us know maybe how you felt the first couple of weeks of being in the group is, or something. Craig, an hour lightweights. Yeah, well, you know, I've got chest Craig.
In lightweight.
He's fucking retired now.
Yeah. So yeah, Chris just said he'll buy a cam and come on, and Christian said he'd love to make a fool of himself. So yeah, maybe somebody next week or something like that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can do another 10 minutes, but it's up to you guys how long you want to do tonight. So, you know, up to you.
I'm not, because I'm on a promise.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. Promise if I don't get off this fucking. If I promise I don't get off this computer, she's going to fucking bed.
I promise.
I'm gonna need to go shortly anyway.
All right, well, let's call it a night tonight. Maybe we'll give you a bit longer next week, Craig. Okay, mate. You know, I don't like the old gauntlet being thrown down, bud. You know, so
2 hours next week.
Yeah, that's it, right? Yeah. We're gonna do an all-day one soon, mate. Do an all-nighter.
Oh God, sorry. And this Viathon.
Yeah, that's it. All right, then. Well, yeah, that's great. Some great discussion, and that we've got something we're going to look into. You need show notes. Just fuck off. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking get back to your retirement. Yeah. So some great things there tonight. One thing definitely we're going to try and put into motion with the optional sales page donation, and obviously the forfeits as well. We're going to look into. So yeah, thanks, guys.
But everyone get involved.
Yeah, and once again, hopefully see a member on next week. And yeah, anything else, just PM Chris. Okay.
They're doing fucking anyway.
That's it, I know. All right, then, see you later, you lot. And no doubt I'll speak to you later on. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.